Monday morning, what are we doing?
Hanging out, talking gear, annoying neighbors.
Neighbors. The neighbors dread seeing your car pull up here.
Yeah, they associate me.
They do.
Causation correlation. It's that silver car.
Yeah.
About to get loud.
That silver '76 Pinto, man. When they see that rolling up. Anyway, we're looking at the Wren & Cuff 2.5. 2.5, you ask, what's that about? Well, it's about 25 volts. It's about. And I don't know how they do it because I'm sending 9 volts into this thing via a one spot. And through whatever kind of crazy alchemy, they turn it into 25 volts. And there's a lot going on here. In fact, I've been thinking this whole time, is this going to blow up my amp? Maybe, I don't know.
Make for a good video.
Yeah, so Wren & Cuff, maybe if you're listening to this, maybe put in the comment sections, has an amp ever blown up while you're testing this at the shop?
Be honest.
Yeah, be honest, because this is pushing so much through this thing. I'm running this baritone into it because it sounds great on bass and guitars. We'll get into that later. But I'm running that valve train, and I seriously thought, is this thing going to blow up? I mean, it is just being pushed hard. Let me tell you some details on this thing. Okay, the 2.5 drive boost is it's working on that kind of crazy thing where you run 25 volts in front. I mean, it's a whole different sound and experience. There's this kind of muscle there where you get kind of crazy overtones and a ton of gain. I don't know how many dB this would increase my amp. I don't know, because it got so damn loud I couldn't go all the way. I'm all about diming that pig, but I didn't do it on this. I mean, maybe we should try later on, Chris. What do you think?
Oh boy.
Yeah. Anyway, there is headroom for days, and it feels crazy powerful. The EQ. Well, let's get into it a little bit. So, right here, you've got a 3-band EQ, but the weird thing about it is that it's kind of like the old Fender amps. When you turn down the highs, each one of these knobs affects the other ones. So when you turn down your highs, you get kind of a low boost. So that's really interesting. Mm-hmm. So it's there's a bit of a learning curve, you know. I mean, it's because it's a little counterintuitive. It's responding differently than other pedals I've dealt with. But you know, I found some really sweet tones in it. Well, you get the idea on this baritone, so I'll switch it over. But my bass tone, whoops, that's where we started. And then gauge this thing. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
And as you can see, the volume is just barely on. You know, it's like about 3, and the gain is just slightly above that. So I shudder to think. Let's go. Okay, we're going to do a slow progression. We're going to go from that thing with those single coils to this old Strat.
Man, I gotta imagine it's built or designed or thoughtfully used with a clean amp, because I can only imagine
Oh, yeah, right.
just how much it would push.
Yeah, and this amp right here, I mean, it's not going to get dirty with this Strat. When I plug in that PRS, it does get there's a little bit of grit under there. It's just on the verge. But yeah, man, with a dirty amp, I don't know what would happen. I don't know. I'm afraid. Also, you know, my signal chain, I've got this this Keeley delay workstation in line, because I kind of want to see what it does to things like reverb and delay. Even because it's after, it's still giving me kind of a boost in that. So here I am, just dry right in, and this is my old 55 Strat. And then same setting. It's such a crazy tone, right?
Yeah, man.
Now let me bring the highs up a little bit. I found it a lot of high end on this thing. So that's just flat. Bring the gain up a bit. The thing I like about it, it's like that overdrive we're hearing is entirely, I mean, it really is the amp. You know, sometimes you like hear the pedal. To me, this sounds like an amp in distress. An amp
Begging for mercy.
Yeah, please God, make them stop. Yeah, it is. It's begging for mercy. So I brought that gain up a bit. God, man, the lows are just huge.
Yeah.
Roll that down a bit. Give it a little mid punch. That's cool, those mids way up.
Mm-hmm.
But it is interesting how that's just all mids. That's a cool tone. Anyway, okay, that's EQ. Now we'll talk about the voice a little bit. There's not a whole lot to it, but it's complex because they're interactive.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got an EQ, which is, you know, kind of expected, but there's a complexity there because of the way they interact with each other. And the other cool bit, the only other ingredient, is the voice switch. And it says the voice switch allows you to configure the clipping section of the pedal in 2 different ways. Voice switch down, where we've been. There are 2 MOSFET transistors used as diodes, and a germanium diode as well, used to create a super rich saturated gain, sort of Marshall-like. Well, I'm not like a transistor weirdo, but I'm sure you're out there watching, those of you who are, so you might know what that means. I really don't. I mean, I've heard these terms, but I don't know what they sound like.
You can't identify them in the wild.
No, I'm not like Eric Johnson saying,
Yeah.
wait a minute. Is that
a Duracell?
Yeah, yeah, right. I don't have that gift or curse or whatever. But I can tell you, I'll show you what it sounds like. How about that? So this is the MOSFET where we've been. They say it's kind of Marshall-y. I'll go back to a flat setting on the EQ. And I guess it's maybe kind of Marshall-y. I guess you could kind of dial in that tone. But let's go to the other voice. The other voice, flick switch up, and the 2 LEDs are used for the clipping. These LEDs have a much wider range of dynamics and lend to a more open, somewhat cleaner sound, sort of Fenderish. The 2 gain will be more crunchy, cutting and less saturated than the other. Well, definitely more cutting. I mean, get a lot more high end up there. Let me put down the other one. Yeah,
That's definitely a lot bassier.
Oh God, right?
I can feel that when it's on the downside.
Yeah, yeah. It's, I mean, keep it a little louder and we will lose control of our bowels when you get that. The brown sound. Okay, so, damn, we're almost out of time. Well, I'll tell you what, I want you to hear 2 other guitars on it.
Oh, we got plenty of time.
Plenty of time, yeah. What am I rushing for? What's the rush? These mini humbuckers, I thought sounded amazing on it. This is a Joe Blazer Les Paul. And these pickups are a little microphonic, and you can hear it just starting to go. Again, here's our bass signal. Nothing wrong with that, but unleash hell. It almost sounds like that Boston tone.
Yeah.
Kind of, right?
Tom Scholes, yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Let me bring the gain way down and the volume up. Roll its highs down because it's feeding back. That's only the volume. That's the gain all the way down, and the volume just in the middle. And here's a down voice. Man, it is so loud, even right there. Crazy loud. Tell you what, let me put on humbuckers because we're kind of running low on time. I just want you to do this last thing. Because I imagine most of you super overdrive people will probably be humbuckering up anyway. So here's our bass tone. See, it's just like, I mean, it's clean. There's a little something starting down there. But that's the gain all the way down. It's interesting, when you bring up that gain, I guess it's compressing so hard that it kind of pulls back a little bit, volume-wise. It's really interesting. I mean, there is some power in that thing.
The thing I dig about it, at least I'm sure it goes to the speed to the 25 volt being injected in the pedal, is it sounds completely unique to itself.
Right, yeah, Chris, that's what I was thinking too. It's like, I don't have anything like this.
You might not dig it, but you can at least acknowledge that it does sound, it's not just another clone.
Yeah, exactly. I've never plugged in anything like this. It reminds me of like a vintagey tone where just everything's being like just pushed in the red, like even like the compressors in the studio when the recording are being pushed too hard or whatever. It's just got that kind of feel to it, and it makes everything really alive. I think they're like $225, and they have a made in the USA lifetime warranty and crushes on guitar and bass. True hardwired bypass. So yeah, very cool pedal. Should we just drum our machine our way out of this thing?
I think that's the only way to end it.
I think we have to. We got to go hard, man. Okay, let's go hard.